And she's juicy, I'm gonna tell you that right now. Flavor's ridiculous too. So today we're gonna take a brisket that we bought at the grocery store. We're gonna get it seasoned up, injected, and on the smoker the simplest way possible at home. So as you can see, I've got my full packer brisket here. This is about a 9-pounder, so it's nothing huge, but you've got your flat going through here. You've got your point meat right here, and you're gonna notice there's this fat seam that separates the two muscle groups. I'm not gonna trim this at all. I'm just gonna get it ready, get it seasoned, and get it on the pit. The first thing I wanna do, and you can skip this step if you want, but if you're gonna go through the whole process of brisket smoke, I highly recommend you inject it. It's gonna get extra flavor and moisture inside of your meat, and it's gonna keep your brisket from drying out, which is usually the #1 problem that people have with a brisket. I'm gonna go ahead and take 2 capfuls of the beef marinade. You can do more or less depending on how much flavor you like. And for brisket, I like to use consomme. So I'm gonna take our beef consomme and add that to the powder. The consomme's got a little bit of tallow and gelatinous texture to it, so that's gonna actually help bond with the meat and hold your moisture in even better. Plus it's got a little extra flavor. So we'll go ahead and shake this up. Now you can do this the night before, or you can do it an hour or so before the cook. Either way, I wouldn't recommend any more than about 12 hours of it sitting in this. So I'm just gonna go ahead and go across the grain. You can see my grains running this way. The main thing here is just to keep it moving. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to hit about every ½ inch of this brisket in somewhat of a grid pattern. The key here is just to keep it moving, get that injection dispersed throughout the brisket. You don't want a major pocket of one area heavy and the other area not heavy enough. Keep it moving. And then I'm gonna go ahead and flip it over so I can get some of that point meat. This area right here is the point. It kind of comes through here. This is where you would get your burnt ends from. It's going to be highly marbled. As you can see, it's going to have a lot more marbling than the flat. So the only thing I want to do over here is try to place something in this area because I don't like the way it was sitting. See, if it's sitting like this and I've got a hole here, I call it a lake, you're gonna build up moisture right here as you cook, where it's dipped down in here like this. And I really want that to be plopped up so we have drainage off of the meat, and that way we'll get an even bark set. If I leave this hole here or this dip here, my bark's not gonna set up right there and it's gonna look goofy. So I'll actually take a piece of foil and just prop that up a little bit from the underneath side when I put it on. So my go-to seasoning on brisket is bold and beefy. It always has been and probably always will be. And you can go fairly heavy on this because it's not an overly salty rub. It's going to give you that beef flavoring, salt, pepper, a little bit of sweet, some garlic, just an overall well-balanced rub that's going to be perfect on a brisket. I'm going to go ahead and hit the top. We actually use real rendered beef fat in here, and that's some of that powder that you're going to see. All right, so it's been about 30 minutes, and you can see this thing is starting to sweat out a little bit. It looks awesome already. It's ready to put on. I've got my smoker set up with a direct side, the water pin on the other side, so I've got an indirect option as well. I've got my wood chunks on. Today I'm using post oak for brisket over natural lump charcoal. It's time to get this thing on. So I'm gonna take this foil and just kind of wad it up a little bit, just enough so I can put it underneath this dip so I've got positive drainage coming off of it. So let's go ahead and get this on the smoker. All right, perfect. So you see how I've got that foil placed underneath where that dip was, and it made a nice arch look to it. That way when my rub dries out, it'll all set up evenly and start to tack up, and I won't have that puddle of water on there, of liquid on there. Top vents wide open, bottom vent, side vents are about 1/4 inch on each side. We'll let that thing come up to temp nice and slow. Once we get it about 280, I'll start plugging these down a little bit more, and it should settle in right at 300 degrees. All right, let's check this brisket out. It's been about an hour and a half. So as you can see, It's starting to tack up nicely. I had it over here on this direct side, but then I did about a half spin on the grate. And you can see it's starting to tack up a little bit. We've got a little bit of that liquid that's starting to come out from the middle. I think we're good to go here for about another 30 minutes or so before we wrap him up. All right guys, we're at about the 2-hour mark on our brisket. I'm gonna check this thing out. Man, I think it looks awesome. It's got some great color on it. Definitely time to wrap it up. Beautiful. I would guess the temp's around 160, 165 right now, but I'm really not going by temp. I just want to go by the look. And the same thing, we've got that bark starting to tack up. See, we had a little bit of poolage here. That's what I was talking about, trying to avoid when we had those dips in there like that, but that's not too bad. So what I'm doing now for my wrap, I'm just taking the beef marinade mix, okay? And I've got water sitting here. I'm gonna go ahead and add about 2 capfuls into 20 ounces of water again, about the same ratio. So what I'm trying to do here is just get a flavorful liquid that's gonna match everything else we've got going on here. You can get creative at this point if you wanted to, but I'm telling you right now, if you wanna go down the middle and make a good tasting brisket, this is definitely good. So now I wanna pour this around the side. So you're gonna wanna make a kind of a bit of a foil boat, if you will. And I'll pour this around the side, not on the top necessarily so I don't wash off my bark anymore. And then get some of that in there and then start carefully wrapping it up. Same thing here, I'm gonna put it over the indirect side and just spin my grate about every 30 minutes. You could put it on the, I've got it on the direct side. You could put it on the indirect side, either way. We just wanna keep that temp around 300 at this point. All right guys, we're at the 5-hour mark on our brisket. I'm gonna go ahead and poke through the foil. I normally wouldn't do that, but she's there, 210. Going in like butter, 212 up there towards the point end of it. That's usually right where we want it. So it's time to take it off, let it rest. So it's very important when you're cooking a brisket, especially hot and fast, to let this thing rest. As soon as it hits your tenderness mark that you're looking for, that probe slides in like butter. Typically it's around 210 to 212 degrees. You want to take it off, wrap it up in a towel, let it sit on a counter, put it in a cooler with no ice in it, and let it rest, okay, for about at least an hour. I would say if you can go 2 to 3 hours, that's perfect. All right, so we got him out of the rest. And he's looking good. Got a beautiful jiggle to it. That's what you want. Nice jiggle like that too. So I like to just slice it right down the middle against the grain. And she's juicy, I'm gonna tell you that right now. Look at that moisture in the meat. It's gonna hang, woo! It's gonna hang over your finger. That's what you want right there. 5-hour brisket, perfect tenderness. Moisture is ridiculous on this thing. Look at this. My word. Flavor's ridiculous too. There it is. I said you can't do it. We just did it. 5-hour hot and fast brisket on the Gateway drum smoker.